Morning, Nostra Waynes. We'll see you, Lil Wayne, right here at this desk in about 2 hours to talk about the prediction of the century that you made on last week's show, that the Packers would easily beat the Dallas Cowboys because Dak would implode. Man, were you so right, and the rest of us were so very wrong. I wonder if Wayne will predict the Packers will win as 9.5-point underdogs at San Francisco. Can't wait for Wayne's World today at 11:30 Eastern here on Undisputed. We will predict that game in just a few minutes. Michael Irvin and Keyshawn Johnson and I will. But first up, it is time to continue sifting through the rubble of Packers 48, Cowboys 32, because Mike McCarthy spoke yesterday. Mike McCarthy said the Cowboys' glass is half full, not empty. Mike McCarthy said the Cowboys are right on schedule as they climb toward winning a Super Bowl. Mike McCarthy said, trust me, reinvest in the Dallas Cowboys. Here's what Mike McCarthy had to say.
I believe that the direction, the leadership, everything is in place. And I'm not very comfortable talking about myself, but I came here to win a championship. I didn't come here to get another contract or anything other than that. I came to Dallas to win the world championship, and that's why I'm standing here, and buy into us.
Buy into us, Mike McCarthy.
Another contract, Skip.
Oh, interesting. So, Michael Irvin, you weren't here yesterday. Please weigh in your reaction to keeping Mike McCarthy into what Mike McCarthy said yesterday.
Well, when I heard about Mike McCarthy staying, of course, I was with Fees. We were headed to the basketball game, Lakers game.
Here in L.A. Yeah.
Here in L.A. And
Mavericks.
I was like, I wasn't overjoyed. That was not overjoyed. As a matter of fact, I was disappointed. And let me tell you why. I said to myself, look, they have the talent. I believe Dallas has the talent. I believe they have the talent. When you lose a football game like they lost that football game in the playoffs, right here, right now, everything on the line, when other things laid out the way they laid out, you had home field advantage, at least two the NFC Championship game. If you had to go to San Francisco, I mean, everything. And then that team shows up. I looked around the league. I saw every home team show up with all kind of burning fire in every player on that team, on said team. They defended their city. They defended their organization. They defended themselves with honor.
Good point.
With honor. I didn't see that in Dallas. I say it out of all the places. I think the fans in Dallas deserve as much as anybody. If you didn't, and if you come in this game and you gave me your guts and you still lose, I can honor you with that. But I didn't get anywhere near your guts. And who do I put that on? Come on, that's the head coach. I want the head coach to motivate these guys and to move these guys when it's time for this kind of a game. And sometimes we always want to hear motivation in a great speech. But I want you to build up to that great speech. It's not just about the moment I'm speaking. It's about everything that I've done coming up to that moment that I'm going to speak, headed into that football game that prepares you for a football game. And this team was not prepared. Do I think Mike McCarthy's a good coach? Yes, I do. You don't win 12 games in an NFL season if you're not a very good coach. But what we were talking about is an opportunity to go deeper, to win championships, and certainly win a championship. And I thought they had an opportunity to do that. When you see that game and how it started, with the mistakes made, the offsides, the fair catch interference, and I think the most egregious of all of them was the 3rd and 3, and I got my cornerback 10, 12 yards off the tight end, and I let him go and get an easy first down. All of this is what I'm talking, paying attention to the details. That's why I said I was disappointed, because you pay attention to, you did not pay attention to the details, and there was someone out there that's detail-oriented, and Bill Belichick. honestly, now you guys heard about this too also, about the big documentary. I've known about the documentary for quite some time.
You're talking about on
Netflix. Jerry Jones is doing
but it's your 90s Cowboys.
Right,
yes.
The 90s Cowboys. And it's going to be other Cowboys, but of all of this, everything going on right now is basically on Jerry. So I thought this had to be a championship year. So you want to do the documentary, right? You know what I mean? And if it wasn't going to be a championship year, what's the best thing to put on that documentary? Then he hired Bill Belichick. You think some eyes going to him?
So you want him to make a decision?
No. I'm giving you insight to tell you why I thought things were going to be different. I want him to make a decision on stamping what the Dallas Cowboys has been. And right now, the decision is another loser. So your documentary says another loser. The only way you move that stench is you go and bring in a Bill Belichick, and he said, "Boy, now he hired the greatest." That's all I'm saying. That was my thought. That's why I was saying there's no way we're going down this path. Mike McCarthy, what he said yesterday, is also why I said that I live on this hope will dictate effort. Hope will dictate effort. You give me great hope, I'm going to give you great effort. You give me little hope, I'm going to get little effort. It's human nature. It's human nature on most people. And right now, it's interesting that Mike ended his press conference with buy into it. He's asking, begging to buy into us. You know why? Because he knows hope has been doused. And he's trying to restore it.
Yep.
That's the reality of it. Hope has been doused, and he's begging, buy back in. Now, I'm going to ask you, what do we buy back in? When you're 12-0, we're still saying, we've seen this before, you won 12 games before. I mean, you got to be like 13-0 before we say, maybe this is different. Maybe, you see what I mean? I mean, where do you start re-engineering and re-giving and really living in hope again, like we may have a chance to win a Super Bowl this year, when those have been the results? And let me tell you, when he says buy into us, y'all see the scores, I wouldn't have a problem, but the 2021 wild card loss to the Niners, I know the number one offense put up 17 points. 17 points. You know, then you won against the Bucs, but then you come back and lose against the Niners in 2022. Offense, you put up 12 points.
12 points.
That's your side of the football. That's your side of the football. So, yeah, now, the other night that was a cheap 32. I call it a cheap 32 because the game was over and everybody had backed out. So you play well in the regular season, but something happens in the postseason. And what is the postseason? It's all about attention to details. You can get us here, but we need someone to get us all the way. And that's why I thought something would have happened.
You're really having a good time over there, aren't you? You're enjoying this. He's got a little smirk on his face the whole time you were talking.
Well, because I'm listening to Michael, who's obviously dialed into Dallas and is very astute in terms of football knowledge and sports knowledge and all the other stuff. I'm fine with it. Now, because I understand a 24-hour cooling off period. When the game was ending and I was with Michael, I told him, they should fire all in right now. He agreed. But then after you sit down and you assess the entire situation, you look at it and you say, okay, they've had an opportunity to watch the film. They had an opportunity as a staff to watch the film.
You think they watch Sunday's film?
1,000%. You have to. You have to watch it. You have to watch it to find out what the hell went wrong, Skip. So you sit there and you look at it.
And how did they explain it to Jerry?
Jerry watched it with him. It wasn't just them. It was Jerry, it was Steven, it was all of the top people in the film room at some point in time breaking down if we would have did that, dang, I can't believe that happened here, there, and other. Then they looking at it and they saying if we would have just attention to detail here. If he would have just played 3 yards more inside there on the deep crosser, back to the corner on Romeo Doubs. If Gilmore isn't looking back at the quarterback as he's chasing Romeo plants and going back to great route.
Dobbs looked back to the quarterback.
Exactly.
If you're a picking cornerback, once the receiver
exactly. But they're saying in themselves
Yeah.
This is the little things that happen. If we can fix this. Romeo looks back. Gilmore looks back, but Romeo knows where he's going. Gilmore doesn't. All of those sort of
real
things.
Quick, it was 27-0 before halftime.
I understand,
okay,
yes.
Yeah.
It was 27-0 before halftime, but you try to fix those things, Skip. I understand you are going all the way back to the Roger Staubach days, and you're so spoiled, you want that to happen in the
Or the Troy Aikman-Michael days. It's not that long ago.
Okay, Troy Aikman-Michael days. But this is not the case. Michael wants Bill Belichick. But what if Bill Belichick didn't want Dallas?
It's possible.
What if he didn't want Dallas?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't believe that would be so either. Not as much as Bill hears about Tom Brady made him. The way he can outdo everybody is if he went to Dallas. Now, I will say this because I heard it 24 hours after about Bill Belichick wants Josh McDaniels to go with him over to Atlanta. Now, maybe Jerry knew that and said kibosh.
Whatever.
Now, I would take, if Jerry said kibosh on Josh Daniels coming with Bill, I'm with all that.
Josh McDaniels, in all fairness, is a pretty decent play caller. He's a pretty decent play caller, Michael. He's a bad head coach. But in terms of play calling, when he had a quarterback, he's pretty good. Pretty good play caller.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, but I got a play caller and a coach right now that got me in #1 offense. I don't think Josh going to do better than that.
But that's
I
not your
need
problem.
somebody that gives me something else.
Your problem makes you score points in the play calling. Your problem is the discipline. The problem is the discipline, the hard-nosed discipline. And I'm not talking 1975, whistling your mouth, screaming, Oklahoma drill. I'm talking about attention to detail. Okay, false starts, holdings, not being in positions that you're supposed to be in, accountability. That's where Mike McCarthy, in my opinion, goes wrong with, because it doesn't seem like he is. I know he does it, but when you're watching it, it doesn't seem like that they're listening to the attention to detail. I understand everybody want the hottest thing going in Harbaugh or Bill Belichick, the all-time winningest coach. I would take Bill Belichick, but if I don't get Bill Belichick, who's to say that Harbaugh, as I said before, is the right answer? Now, what are you left with? Okay, if those are the two main things, you want Pete Carroll, you want Vrabel, you want another hot shot, you want Eric Bieniemy, like who do you want? You say you don't want any of them because you want Mike McCarthy.
I don't say that.
Well, you don't. But the owner and the people in the building, they know more about the situation that just failed than we do. They know more about it than we do. Why it failed, what went wrong, how the players are responding or not responding. You got to take a step back, and not everything got to be approached with emotion. That's my whole thing.
Keyshawn, they haven't been to an NFC Championship game in 28 years.
Skip, you go ahead
what do they know?
Skip, attention to detail is good when I lose 28-31. But now when I'm 27-0, like Skip said, down at halftime, this is bigger than attention to detail. This is bigger than that now. And I'm serious. It's the details also, but it's bigger than that also.
All right. I'm listening to Mike McCarthy last night, and I'm thinking, does this man have no shame? He has the audacity to stand up there and play us all for all-time gullible fools, and maybe we are in Dallas. Maybe year after year we do buy in, and we buy back in, fool us once, fool us twice, fool us 29 times. He said, I believe the direction, the leadership, everything is in place. The leadership is in place. Buy into us. I can buy into the talent on the football team because, as Michael said, Jerry has actually done a sensational job of assembling the talent. We had the most all-pros on a team voted upon by the players in the league. We had the most. We were 7.5-point favorites because we're more talented than Green Bay. We obviously didn't play that way. So when he says buy into us, he's including him in us. And I can't include him in us because I agree with Michael. He's a pretty good football coach. He's a very good regular season football coach because in the regular season, as you both know better than I do, talent can overcome. Just sheer talent. If you have a 17-game season, it will just wheel out. Because if you play in a pretty weak division, as they pretty much have for the last 3 years, it's pretty weak. You can get the Giants a couple times, and you can get Washington a couple times. You'll get Philly one time, and it'll just sort of wheel out, and it'll get you to 12-5. Mike McCarthy, since that long-ago Super Bowl that he won on Aaron Rodgers' coattails 14 years ago, that's a long time ago, He's 6-9 in the postseason. And all the players stood up for him after that loss because they love him because he's easy to play for. He's comfortable. Jimmy Johnson was not comfortable to play for. Barry Switzer wasn't that comfortable to play for. Tom Landry was very uncomfortable to play for. I know I'm reaching into the blast from the past, but my point is to you that the players love him because he creates a country club of a comfort zone in that locker room that manifests itself in playoff games because they're not ready to play. You mentioned 2 years ago in Dallas against Jimmy G's 49ers. I look up and let me get this right. It's 23-7 San Francisco going to the fourth quarter of that game. They weren't ready to play. And then they do some empty calories at the end and they come back. And then at San Francisco last year in the playoff game, Dak throws 2 first-half interceptions, and the defense shows up that day and sort of fought and survived and scratched and clawed and held it to only 9-6 San Francisco at halftime, and it wound up 19-12. And then this time, Dak throws 2 first-half interceptions, and I look up, and it's 27-0. And I look at Dak in those 3 losses, and he's 5 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. And his QBR is under 50, is 43, which is below average. So the quarterback hasn't shown up. He wasn't ready to play. And the coach never has them ready enough to play in big playoff games that really count.
Right. You mentioned...
But see what he said. The quarterback didn't show up. These guys aren't ready to play. The issue is they play, and we see them do these things in the regular season.
We do.
So the turn from the regular to the post is the issue. In the postseason, you got to find more consistency.
Yes.
You got to tighten down all the little things that we are talking about.
Absolutely.
Because they matter so much. And that's what listen, if a Bill Belichick that I know is a discipline, I mean, when we say discipline, I'm not talking about governing over everybody like room. I'm talking about paying attention to details.
That's what I just said, though.
Pay attention to details. Right, that's what we're talking about. Paying attention to details. How are you 12 yards off the tight end on 3rd and 3? On 3rd and 3, boy, that hurts my back to even think about the move back like that. I better... It just blows my mind, man. I'm telling you, I wanted to break the TV when I'm watching that part. Like, what are you doing?
You would have had to pay for them TVs, too.
Yeah. I
wouldn't have wanted you to do that.
I would be willing. I was so upset. Like, come on. Every little thing. That you stop this first down right now because it's all momentum. Let's try to get the ball back. Those things just, they irk
Skip,
me. They irk me.
You mentioned 3 or 4 coaches, right? You mentioned Tom Landry, Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, and I'll throw Parcells in there. I'll throw Sean Payton in there, even though Sean Payton didn't head coach there, but he was
He was there.
You know what all those guys had that Mike McCarthy doesn't have to instill the fear that you want in those players to feel? Control. He doesn't have the control to be able. He doesn't. When you don't have the control, that means that your owner and you are not lockstep in the decision-making process because you now cannot go to the player and say, Michael, if you do that again, I'm going to cut your ass. Jimmy Johnson can do that. Tom Landry can do that. Parcells can do that. Mike McCarthy will have to now go to Jerry and say, hey, I think we should move on from this guy.
Yeah.
So it's not about him. He doesn't have that type of control to be able to do that. Belichick had that control in New England.
Did he?
So it's a big difference in Dallas in those situations where you have a coach that doesn't put that type of personality out there because he can't. So you have to live with that. You have to make that decision that this is the type of coach. Jason Garrett didn't have that. Okay, Wade Phillips didn't have that control. No, so guys that don't have that control, what do you want them to do?
All right, so go ahead,
Use
Michael.
another gift besides the gift of having dominion over. Use a gift like building a partnership with. What you're saying, since he can't do this and tell him what to do, that's dominion over you. I'm your boss. Do what I tell you. So now practice using another gift.
But it's
with
not.
Partners
But Michael, it's not standing over.
I knew Jimmy Johnson was not going to cut me. Where is he going to find another Michael Irvin?
He ain't going to cut you.
I know he ain't going to cut me, but I knew Jimmy
wanted. He going to cut the dude behind you that messed up.
But what I knew is also Jimmy wanted what's best for me so I can listen to him and receive what he says to me. And I know he was always going to push me to put me on edge.
The star players are easy.
And I love him to death. I love him to death because he pushed us all the time. Mike McCarthy will get more love if he's pushing them to their best them and stop. And you're saying,
if I know Michael as a player that he ain't really got no control, and if he stare at me wrong, I'm just like whatever, because you ain't gonna do nothing to me.
No,
you ain't gonna do nothing to me. Jimmy Johnson don't need to say nothing to you, Michael. All he gonna do is stare you down, and you know you messed up.
The Lombardis and the Jimmy Johnsons, they are out of the league, and I see coaches motivating people great. My issue, I saw Jimmy Johnson give a halftime motivational speech on a TV set that I'm sure was greater than anything in that locker room.
Way better.
And I guarantee you that whatever Jimmy did on the TV that I saw everybody talking about is 1,000 times less than what he would have given in a locker room, giving that energy. What he was. I just want to see that. I wanted to see what I saw at every other home team. Defend your turf, defend your city, defend your fan base. And I didn't see that, and I put that on the head coach.
So, Keyshawn, to your point, what I despise the most about Mike McCarthy is what Jerry loves the most about Mike McCarthy, because he is not a dynamic leader or personality. He is non-threatening to everybody around him because he's a nice guy. Jerry enjoys his company, and I don't blame Jerry for that, but he loves that late Friday afternoon beer and nachos session because good old Mike will sit and listen and talk and never challenge. Mike's not going to challenge Jerry Jones the way Jimmy would challenge or anybody, but the way Bill challenged him. And it puts Jerry in a comfort zone at age 81 that he did not want to blow up at this point.
If you blow it up, Skip, you complaining about the last 30 years, you blow it up, you bring in all new people in, you're getting ready to go behind the sticks, buddy.
Okay, but you might not. It could go ahead of the sticks.
You're already in a great position.
We're already behind the sticks.
36 regular season games.
All Jerry knows is we had the #1 offense, and that will sell. That will sell tickets and
you had the
TV
#1
viewers.
offense last year.
And 2 years ago.
But what's going to be different?
Yeah, 2 years ago with Kellen Moore calling it.
What's going to be different, Key, if you just talked about it, all of these regular season wins, and then we talk about the issue converting them to playoff wins.
Do you believe in getting over the hump at all?
So what is going to be what's going to be the thing that helps them get over the hump? What's going to be different next year? Are you going to walk back on the football field in the playoff game looking like they look with the most least interested team in that position, the most least interested team?
Maybe Derrick Henry gets you over the hump, and maybe he brings a different leadership skill to the table that's not in the locker room right now and get you over the hump. Maybe Orlando Brown or one of them tackles that you're going to get you over the hump, of some DB get you over the hump that you sign, or some young kid you draft get you over the hump.
You're reaching, Keith.
I'm not reaching. I'm just trying to give you a real perspective without this frustration that y'all are living with.
Okay, here's my final point.
I'm tired of being counselor to y'all.
Okay. In all my years of watching playoff football,
I'm hurt.
Under the circumstances of what happened Sunday at Jerry World, this was the all-time biggest playoff stinker I have ever witnessed, given the circumstance of how good we thought they were. It was
ugly. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
Go to the Super Bowl, and they gave up 10 more points than your franchise had ever given up in a playoff game. 38 up to 48.
Yeah, you want Dan Quinn going too, huh?
When I went back to Dallas, it was rainy, it was cold, it was just gloom. I said, man, even God is hurting. Even God is mad.
God, here we go.
Man, God is being gloomy out here.
All right, we've got to talk about Packers at 49ers.
Jokers.
Who you got? I'll save my pick for just a moment.
I like my
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp, because your mental well-being matters. Forget the new year, new you mantra. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. Unlock the power of therapy with BetterHelp and witness the transformative benefits it brings to your life. From gaining valuable insights into your thought patterns to building resilience in the face of challenges, therapy empowers you to navigate life's twists with confidence. BetterHelp offers a convenient online platform. It's designed to be flexible, fitting seamlessly into your schedule. With a simple questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at no extra cost. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit BetterHelp.com/undisputedpod today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/undisputedpod. Your mental health journey begins here. Packers at 49ers. Tomorrow night, 8:15 Eastern on Fox, where it belongs. 49ers favored by 9.5? Keyshawn, you first, please. What shot do you give the Packers?
I mean, I'm always give them a shot and a chance. San Francisco's been the best team all year long, Skip, right? I mean, you know, they had a nice little three. I was about to say they had a nice little 3-game slump going on, and they figured out how to manage that by fixing the defense and bringing Coach Wilkes down to the sideline.
Coming out of their box.
Getting Debo Samuel healthy again.
Getting Debo.
That's all. Put Debo and Trent back on the field.
Getting both of those two back healthy again, so things kind of shifted. It changed. Should San Francisco win this game? Yes, they should. They are the better team. Will they win the game? I give them a shot. I give Green Bay a shot because you got a young quarterback who just went into Dallas that we talked about. It unleashed Aaron Rodgers like with a different number on.
He unleashed.
He unleashed and he played well despite we didn't get pressure and our secondary left gaping cavities and holes. Yes, that's true, but the design of the plays allowed those sort of things to happen.
Yep.
When you look at this situation, San Francisco and Green Bay mirror each other. They both practice against each other's offenses
They do.
every single
the kicker right
week.
there.
They know,
There's the
concepts
kicker.
and different things. The difference is San Francisco may have a little bit better skill position players than Green Bay. A little bit better. A little bit better. And the reason it's a little bit better because those guys are young.
They're just kids.
Yeah,
There's
they're
a bunch
young.
of kids. All of them are kids.
They're young, so they don't know what they're doing. They're just out there having a party like they partied in the Star. They had a big party on Dallas. The problem that I see Green Bay's going to face is, can they keep Jordan Love clean like they've kept him clean over the last 10 weeks of the season where he's had phenomenal numbers? Can Nick Bosa and Chase Young and company harass him enough to make him uncomfortable?
They're talking like they can.
Enough to make him uncomfortable. Yes, Nick Bosa is talking like he can.
Yeah.
But in the end, talk is only talk until you deliver. We've seen teams talk before and players talk before. I mean, y'all got a few of them on the Dallas Cowboys that talk and don't deliver. But I think in the end, the score 33-18.
So you got it pretty convincing, San Francisco.
One of those pull-away games.
Yeah.
It's close, and then in the middle of the fourth quarter, all of a sudden, there's a pick six, and then things just starts to unravel. That's the way that I look at it. But for the most part, in that 3.5 quarter stretch, that game is going to be close. And if it just doesn't be close at the same time, Green Bay is still here to stay, and they'll be back the following year.
All right.
Right. I go back and harken back to what I heard Nick Bosa say. We have to put this game on that young quarterback, on Jordan Love.
Yes.
We have to take the run game out, and they will do that. They will take out the run game. What you saw, and I let you go with it. I let you run, Key. You kept running right on back towards Dallas. Everything.
I didn't run nothing to Dallas. I just was giving you information. We like to gather information on this show.
You know what? He just kept putting it. That's okay, though, because I push stuff back now towards Dallas because I'm so mad at what happened. I'm with what you're saying, to be honest with you. But like Bosa said, they'll shut down the run, and they'll put it on Jordan Love. Key, you just mentioned it. They will not be running wide open. Y'all, you remember how in Dallas those guys were running wide open.
Gaping cavities.
Running through gaping cavities on the defensive line, running wide open down the field. No other player in sight while they catch the ball. That will not be happening. So what it says, this won't be a system beating the system. This is about a man beating a man. And that's what this game going to come down to. And San Fran they have the better men.
No, they do.
Beating them.
They do.
But Jordan Love is a quarterback that can rise above the system and can pull men up. And this little thing that when you watch, even last week watching against Dallas, you saw how he was leaning back and delivering that ball. He didn't step into that ball.
Looked like Aaron Rodgers with a different number on.
And this is why I say this is so important. That's why I say it's so important. It's a game of inches. That means it's a game of milliseconds. You won't be able to hold back that line all day, but that the millisecond longer that he does when he leans back and deliver that ball may be all he needs to raise his group up. That's the part that says, I say, great quarterback play, override everything. If Jordan Love make those kind of throws like he made in Dallas, when all that leaning back, dropping back is still making dime throws, that means I'm helping my offensive line with another 1/10 of a second, and I'm making dime throws. San Francisco better be scary and better be careful. I'm starting my Saturday show with both number one seeds on high alert. Young guns are gunning. Be careful. So, yeah, I believe Green Bay can step in and win and get a win in this game. I really do. And I think it's going to be it's so funny you said 33-18. I got 31-17.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I got 31-17.
Because you're still going with San Francisco.
I'm going with San Francisco.
All right.
I'm going with San Francisco.
Right.
I'm going with San Francisco. But, boy, if Aaron Jones can get some running in, then and help Jordan Love, that may be a different score. Now, can I also say this? If Aaron Jones does get some running in and help Jordan Love, and somehow, some way, they beat the 49ers, does that back you up off the Cowboys any?
Skip, so...
Does that back you up off the Cowboys?
Has San Francisco played from behind and won any games this year? Like from a real behind.
To win
in Cleveland, they got behind. They didn't come back.
They lost.
No, they lost. They missed the field goal.
They didn't come back.
But have they had a double-digit deficit and came back and won? I can't think of one either. I was just thinking about it, Skip. I ignored him about the Cowboys.
I know you did. I ain't studying that, man.
Selective hearing.
Because you ain't going to do it anyway. You ain't
Selective hearing.
I wish I could mess with you, but my back is out.
You mess with me, I'll kick you.
All right. So my prediction here is based on the Dallas Cowboys because these 49ers out there beat our Cowboys 42-10. So they're going to look at what Green Bay did and roll their eyes and say, they're no good anyway. You know, we killed them too. I think San Francisco will slightly underestimate the buzzsaw that's about to hit them.
That could happen.
I think that Jordan Love is better than Brock Purdy. And now I'm back to a Lil Wayne kind of prediction.
I kind of like that.
Okay. Brock Purdy is capable of unraveling because during the 3-game slide, he did. He does have a little Favre in him. He's a rambling gambler, and he gets away with a lot because they are so talented and their schemes are so smart and creative that he can get away with it because they have instilled him with such confidence to get away with it. And if he throws a couple of picks or maybe gets sacked, fumbled once, if he has 3 turnovers, Green Bay is going to win this game. It's going to take 3 from Brock Purdy and none from Jordan Love to win this game. And I'm going to give you on talent, the thing that concerns me the most is San Francisco's defense is better than Green Bay's defense. For what it was worth, in the second half, when Dak finally just settled down and sort of collected himself and got the deer in headlights look out of his eyes, he threw for 316 in the second half. Now, there were a lot of garbage yards. There were a lot of empty calorie yards when they were so hopelessly behind. But I don't think the Green Bay defense is great. It's not like a Super Bowl-type defense. They have to win with their offense first. And to your point, Aaron Jones, over the last 4 games, when healthy, he's 132 a game for 4 games. So
he always kills Dallas.
He kills Dallas. Could he at least hurt San Francisco and offset McCaffrey? McCaffrey will get his. He just does. He is that good against this defense. He's going to get it. So you're going to have to outscore them. So to me, I'm probably picking this with my heart over my head because I need Green Bay to win this game to drain some of the shame out of what happened, right? Just drain a little of the shame out of it. Yeah, right? Because if they do go win this game, which they are highly capable of winning, then it's going to make you to sit back on Monday and say, well, maybe that 48-32 wasn't so bad after.
We'll stop killing the Cowboys and start saying, oh, my God, what is this? And we'll start projecting what Green Bay is ultimately going to be.
But the problem with what you just said, Skip, it wasn't just the San Francisco 49ers that did that to y'all. It was the Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills.
Miami beat y'all.
That's why we need a new head coach. But that's okay.
I could go on and on.
That's exactly right. All right, now back to Jordan Love. Is he a force to be reckoned with? Is he legit? Is he for real?
Yeah, I told you he's legit.
Okay, because now we got a 9-game body of work here.
We got 17+ games.
Okay, but we got 22 touchdowns to 1 intercept, 22 to 1.
It's settled in, as I told you before, Skip. Yeah. It's very difficult to anoint someone who's replacing a 4-time MVP Super Bowl champion quarterback, no matter what you think about his postseason record. Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay was ridiculous. So it's hard to replace that, no matter who it was. You could have brought a veteran quarterback in that had some accolades of his own, and you would sit there and go, well, it's still going to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what happens to Jordan Love.
So you have criticized us for even daring to put Micah Parsons in the same sentence with Lawrence Taylor, but you have already leaped to conclusions. You're saying Sunday at Dallas, if we put a 12 on that back, it looked like Aaron Rodgers. Yes.
But if I put a 56 on 11, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, but what I'm saying is we're already to the point where you're comfortable putting Jordan Love in the same sentence with Aaron Rodgers.
I'm very comfortable at looking at his style against the Dallas Cowboys, like Michael talked about, off-balance throws, the lean, all of those sort of things. If I put a split screen up, and I took clips of Aaron Rodgers' career and mirrored that, what we saw against Dallas, and took the numbers off, you would simply say, oh, that's the same guy.
Same guy, okay.
You would. Now, can he do this as long as Aaron Rodgers? That's the problem.
Okay, that's a whole nother issue.
It's another issue.
Right. So the real issue, and why this is so crucial and so important is, the real issue is how does he play in big games, in big moments? He did great last week.
Yes, that is correct.
If he does,
did great on Thanksgiving.
We can keep talking about great games or regular season games, and he had this record and that record. I don't care. It's what do you do in this season, this second season, the season where you get rings, not titles,
I understand.
Not division titles, but rings. Mike McCarthy said, oh, we're a championship team. Yeah, you're a division, but not rings. Rings are what you're after. And that's okay. And this kid shows up in playoff games. That's what matters. That's what we're looking at. That's why these young guns have to be careful.
You and I watched the playoff game he showed up in.
Right. So everybody doesn't show up in playoff games. We can see them in the regular season, but what we're seeing now is what you should be giving more credit to than what you just saw in the regular season is what I'm trying to share.
Good point.
Because it matters here. I got somebody doing it in the regular season, and damn it, I'm tired of seeing you do it in the regular season. Can you please do it in the second?
Michael, we were talking about the Green Bay Packers, man. We're not talking about the Dallas Cowboys. We have moved on from that segment. This is about Green Bay.
I sat up with my backup yesterday. All I saw was everybody talking about the Cowboys. I couldn't say a word. I'm going to get it in today.
That was the segment.
I'm going to get it in. It was everywhere. It was everywhere.
That ain't what we're talking about right now.
I'm in pain and can't get away from pain. Every time I turn TV, that's what they were talking about.
But Jordan Love certainly could show up. He's already displayed that the playoff game against Dallas was not too big for him. I think he can go on the road and play really well, but he needs everybody to do the same things that they did against Dallas for him to win that game.
Which is why I sat right here in this chair 1 week ago right now, and I said, we, as in our pass rush, will get to Jordan Love. That was the key factor that I thought would happen because we led in the regular season the whole league in quarterback pressures. We did not get to Jordan Love one time. We sacked him early, and Deron Bland had a illegal contact, and that was the only one. That was a 2-yard loss because he was scrambling away. We did not get to him because that offensive line stonewalled us all game long. Can they do a semblance of that at San Francisco?
No.
A semblance.
No.
Can they keep him relevant?
No, and that's why I said Jordan has to rise above all of it and win that football game with the Green Bay Packers. One last thing. Let me tell you, one of the most difficult things in the world to do, and Green Bay is facing it, and also the Texans, is to play on Wild Card Sunday, a Wild Card weekend, and then turn around and go play a physical football team like the 49ers or like the Baltimore Ravens, because you just played and you still recovering and they're fresh and they're physical.
Who's recovering?
What?
Who's recovering?
The Packers.
From what?
Well, the Packers.
From what?
I agree.
I got what you're saying. They still
you ain't got what I said.
Because
you said a physical game. It wasn't nothing physical about that. It was 27-0
I said you're
at
coming
halftime.
into a physical game.
Yeah,
now
but they didn't absorb any energy.
I hear you.
Skip, what's your score of the game? Who you got winning?
I'm going Green Bay. I'm going 30-28, fairly high scoring, and Jordan Love will rise above Brock Purdy. That's what I got. All right.
No, just count that. That's San Francisco.
Have I talked you out of San Francisco? Have I talked you into Green Bay?
I love Green Bay, and I if they win, I can take something. And like, hey, they beat the 49ers too. But when I talked to Deebo Samuel this week, they gonna be ready. They will not. I promise you, they will not step on the football field like Dallas stepped on the football field. So Green Bay better be ready for that.
Yeah,
always goes back to Dallas.
Yeah. Trust me, man. I told about boy Debo. They are ready.
All right, in a moment, finally, Patrick Mahomes is on the road for a playoff game, this time at Josh Allen. Who you got? We'll tell you our picks in just a moment.
Yeah, I'll tell you what he had. Him and his boys were over the house.
Now it's your turn. Hashtag Undisputed Live. Here we go with the first tweet from Thomas Frisbee. How Skip and Michael feel about McCarthy coming back as the head coach. Viola knows. She knows. That's exactly how we feel.
Like, man, let's just go.
Yeah. Let's just get out of here.
Y'all stuck with him now. So be happy.
And you're loving it. All right, Rob Crabtree says Keyshawn trying to hold it together while he listened to Skip and Michael talk about yet another failure playoff run by the Cowboys he correctly predicted, and I'm not sure that's true, that last
No, I didn't. I originally predicted that they would struggle, but then I saw them and felt that they would see a young Green Bay team and handle business, but that...
no.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't put no money on it.
Munster Inc. has our third and last tweet. Listening to Mike McCarthy, this is Skip and Michael, listen to Mike McCarthy talking about buy into us. That's Chris Tucker as Smokey and Friday. Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, man, y'all got to buy into Mike McCarthy.
Buy into
man, he's
what?
our coach.
Buy into
y'all
what?
supposed to support him, buy into him.
Yeah.
You know, that's what y'all supposed to do. You guys are unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. We're stuck. All right. Let's get to a real football game, the one up in Buffalo. Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs are finally about to play a road playoff game. That's at Buffalo Sunday night, 6:30 Eastern. Josh Allen and the Bills favored by 2.5 at home. Another showdown between this generation's Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Michael, who wins and what's the score?
Man, this game is interesting here. Now, and I love it, and I'm going to tell you why I say Buffalo wins this football game. This is Armageddon in Buffalo. There is no way. Let me give it to you first. I do have Buffalo winning this game. I got them winning this game 31-28. It's going to be a close game because 13 seconds run between these two franchises. But when you look at it, Buffalo, 8-1 at home right now. 8-1 at home. Do you guys know this is truly the first playoff road game for Patrick Mahomes? You know, which blows my mind because he's been so incredible outside of the 3 Super Bowls. The 3 Super Bowls, he has a passer rating of 79.7. And those 3 Super Bowls, that's crazy. At home in those 12 playoff games, he's like 112, 113. Yeah. So he's comfortable at home.
Yep.
He's away now. He's away where it's
typically
less comfortable.
Neutral sites,
right.
Except the Brady one was at Tampa.
At Tampa. But that's surprising when I saw that. That was surprising. I mean, because, you know, he won a couple of those. He won those Super Bowls, 2 of them at least. So I was surprised by that. I say to Buffalo, if you don't win this game, you got to tear the house down. You'll never get Kansas City Chiefs in a better position to win right now. You're going into this game with this mentality. Buffalo's 8-1 at home. We don't lose at home. This is our home field advantage. Kansas City has been there and been a problem for us. And you get a chance to remove them at home in front of that home crowd. I know you're depleted, but I'm going to see the most Superman that I've ever seen. And I know we keep talking about the Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. I understand when we talk about elite quarterbacks in the same conference, But that's about where those similarities end. You know what I mean? Because these two guys are totally two different comps from Peyton and Tom Brady. Peyton and Tom beat you purely with their arms in their brain, shoulders up. These guys will beat you waist down.
They will.
Waist down.
Both of them will.
Josh Allen running the football and then Patrick Mahomes just buying time and putting that ball in there. I said Buffalo win this game because with the issues Patrick Mahomes have on the road, the drops that they had early in the season. I saw Travis Kelce drop more balls than anybody last week.
That is correct.
I don't think that's all going to come together in Buffalo. They're going to be rabid crazy. I get a home field to Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching Patrick Mahomes playing another AFC Championship game again.
Oh, so you got Mahomes.
I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs in a tight one, 27-24. He's beaten them in Buffalo back in 2020.
He did.
He beat them, 26-17.
Yep.
So he went on the road. He's played in that stadium, although that was a couple years ago. When you look at Buffalo's defense, they're falling apart.
It's decimated.
They're falling apart at the city.
Real quick point. They're probably going to be down 5 starters from their regular season finale against the Dolphins. So they're down 5, and 3 of their backups are out. So they're down to third stringers.
You up against it.
You're
going to need 3, maybe 4 people on the offensive side of the ball at the skill position.
Just
Dalton Kincaid, Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, Cooks. You're going to need them to play lights out.
Way up high. Take it up. Yeah.
Way high to help the defense out. I understand when you look at the drops by the Kansas City Chiefs offense throughout the course of the season, and even what Travis Kelce did last week at times, dropping the football.
Yep.
But there's a young man named Rashee Rice who all of a sudden, in his first playoff game, emerged to a whole nother level.
Right.
So that gives Patrick Mahomes a comfort level.
Yep.
Okay, and knowing that despite the weather conditions and all that, this young man came to play. Okay, and he can carry that over against his secondary in that defense. And so when I look at it, I'm like, Michael's right. If Buffalo doesn't win this football game, they've got to look to do some different things.
Right.
Okay, we get a little bit older in certain spots. They got to try to find. It's going to scream at, because this is, right now for them, they got Kansas City in a perfect situation to beat them.
Yeah. Right.
And now you get over the hump and maybe you go to Baltimore, or if Houston clips Baltimore, maybe Houston comes into Buffalo. So you got to be thinking about all of those things if you're Sean McDermott, knowing that there's an opportunity and a chance here. But that team in Kansas City that you beat earlier in the regular season is just a different playoff team, man. It's just a different playoff team. I don't know what it is about it. They just play different in the playoffs.
Okay, I got you. Let me preface what I'm about to say with some remarks made yesterday by Deion Dawkins of the Buffalo Bills. If we could see this, please.
He's only been here once? So he's never been here. Simple as that. Pat has never been to the Bills Stadium in full effect. The environment would be different, and not to say it's in our favor, but stadium is our favor. Stadium is us. That helps us. I don't care what nobody says. This is the most dopest feeling I've ever had. Like, we've Like, we're having 2 back-to-back playoff games home. Like, come on now. Like, we get to leave and go eat wings. Like it's cool. So, good luck.
Did you hear the last 2 words?
Good luck. See, he don't know no better.
Yeah, I wouldn't have bothered Patrick Mahomes. I would have just talked about the greatness of my home fans and everything. And
What?
But I'm not rattling his cage.
What was the last time somebody tried to rattle his cage? What happened? Who was that? It was a Cincinnati mayor or something. And Joe
Patrick?
Burrow, remember? Yeah, in the Joe Burrow.
No, Barrowhead Stadium.
Barrowhead Stadium. They tried to paternity test the whole deal.
They remember that.
And they remember that. You don't think they gonna remember this?
AFC Championship
game. You started talking noise to this dude.
Yeah.
And he just, I probably would have not
invoked his name.
No, it's probably just don't want to do that.
So he's saying Patrick played here, but he hadn't played here because this is different. Like, he played here in a regular season in 2020. This is going to be different.
He's played in hostile environments before.
Okay, but to Michael's point, and it is a very valid point, Patrick Mahomes in those 3 Super Bowls did not play Patrick Mahomes football. He struggled in all 3. In the first one against San Francisco, he threw a late third-quarter interception and an early fourth-quarter interception and got away with a 3rd and 22 throw to Tyreek out in the deep flat where they just blew the cover. Ask Richard about it because he was involved in it. They just blew the coverage and let them out of a trap. And then in the Brady Super Bowl, he just had a long, hard day. You say he wasn't protected, but he just had a long, hard day. And against, I kept telling you, a torchable Philadelphia defense last year, he threw for 182. It wasn't his best day, and they needed a big punt return by Tony in the fourth quarter that broke that.
And you're saying all this to say what? Because they won.
He is not at whatever head stadium you want to call it. He's not at home. And I think he'll struggle some. And they have teetered all year long. Back to your point, Travis Kelce got off to a hot start, and then he kind of hit what looked like a carear wall. And now I'm hearing,
you guys, remember I said this is going to be the hardest season he's ever had because, well, it became the hardest season because those guys were dropping passes, and they knew all we got to do is shut down Travis Kelce, and you could beat the great Chiefs. And they banged him up all year.
They banged him up, and he is so good run after catch. He doubles up that football and just sticks his head down. And after a while, you take so many licks, you're saying, because I'm hearing some retirement talk coming out of there. Like maybe could this be it? His brother just retired. Would he think about it?
But he doused those. He doused those talks. He said, "Hey, I'm not even."
But as I told you a minute ago, though, Skip, they found a young receiver.
They did.
Right. They're extremely happy about.
And he played. I think he was the best player on the field for them last year.
Absolutely.
Okay. He was the best player on the field.
I give you that. I just think it's Josh Allen's turn.
Me too.
I do like the way he has played over the last 4 or 5 weeks. I love the way he's played since that fateful, was it a Monday night when they lost to Russell Wilson at home? And at that point, they had a 5% chance of even making the playoffs. And he turned that team around with help from James Cooks, obviously, and Dalton Kincaid emerged. And now I just think he's playing at a little higher level than Patrick has been playing at.
Right. But what you see, Skip, I see also different with Josh Allen. I think he this is ownership. He's saying, this is me now.
Yep.
I've done it your way. I tried with remember, I got on everybody when they were doing all this to Josh, all that think. You haven't seen any of that. No one, they're not doing that anymore. Josh has shut all that down. This is his team, and he's playing like that. And that's why I say Superman's going to do great Superman things. Go beat Patrick Mahomes. You get a chance to go in the AFC Championship game. You could be the greatest Buffalo Bill known to mankind, and he wants that. Well, Chiefs they're going to have to stop him. He's going to play great.
Well, they're deadlocked 3-3 against each other. Yeah. But Patrick Mahomes is 2-0 in the playoffs.
In the big games, in the big playoff games, when they matter most, right?
When they matter most. That's what you say you want to see, right?
I don't care what. I do care because you got to get them to the postseason. But it really matters in the postseason. Yeah.
All right, I got Josh Allen 34-31. He's going to have to outscore Patrick because Patrick is going to score against that decimated defense. Your score is?
I had Buffalo winning 31-28.
31-28.
27-24
You got
KC.
27-24.
Back in the AFC Championship game against either Houston or Baltimore.
And don't let Baltimore slip up, says Keyshawn.
Don't let them
don't
mess around with C.J. Stroud. It'll be back at Arrowhead.
Yep.
Y'all will be pulling y'all hair out if they go back to Arrowhead.
Will we? All right, speaking of Baltimore, the most pressure this weekend is on one quarterback and only one quarterback, and he plays for the Ravens. We're about to talk about Lamar Jackson
Big lead
versus C.J. Stroud.
into it. You're right.
Texans at Ravens tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern. Ravens favored by 9.5. Michael, will Lamar's Ravens blow out the Texans and their rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud?
Absolutely no. No, they will not blow them out. I think this is going to be the first game and probably one of the best games of the weekend. I mean, DeMeco Ryans' defense have been playing insane, incredible, and they pressured Lamar Jackson a lot in week one. Week one, of course, the Ravens won that game. What I see here now, because you heard C.J. Stroud talk about it, he said, and he's right. He said week one, he said that was almost like a whole season ago. It literally was a whole season ago. So you know, they're going to see a different team. Baltimore Ravens see a different offense with Stroud this time than they did last time. But also, the Texans are going to see a different offense with the Ravens. The Ravens were just embarking on their new offense under Todd Monken. That was the first game under Todd Monken. And they showed up and won that game, and, you know, pretty convincingly. The game won pretty convincingly. You're going to see a better Lamar Jackson. That week one Lamar Jackson is as far away from this Lamar Jackson as Stroud is week one and now. Both have made great strides. So much pressure on Baltimore. Baltimore was in the same exact place in 2019. Lamar Jackson MVP. They had the number one seed. Remember, they rested everybody. They had to bye, and then they lost to the Titans in the divisional round. They lost to the Titans in the divisional round. That's standing right there. Lamar Jackson just got this new contract. He just went into this new offense. Right now, even at 1-3 in the playoffs, you can move it all aside. If he comes out and perform in this new offense and do what he's been doing all year, because we say now Lamar Jackson is full Lamar. Before he got in on what he did with his legs. Now, this time around, it'll be what he does with his arm, and he uses his legs. That'll be a different Lamar. That'll be the Lamar that he always wanted to be, that justifies to everybody I am a true quarterback because I'm winning with my arms and using my legs instead of winning with my legs and trying to learn how to throw.
Well, you know me. First thing
Did I give y'all that score? I got it 28-24.
Okay.
28-24. C.J. Stroud going to get some plays in here now. He's going to make some plays.
All right.
Yeah, but you know the first thing I do when I see a team that has what they call a dome, and then they go into a situation where it's not a dome, first thing I do, Michael, every time.
Check that weather, me too.
I got to look at that.
Yeah, the weather always.
I got to look at that because when you are a team with great environment, great weather, indoors, all of those things, and all of a sudden you got to pack everything up warm and travel to Baltimore where it's going to be in the teens. Okay? That's going to feel a little bit different to the bone.
Sure.
You're going to call plays differently.
There's no precipitation. There's no snow. But it's just cold.
Cold is cold.
Cold is cold.
Whether it's snow or not.
Yeah.
And so I start there. Do I think they're going to blow Houston out? I think the final score will be 30-23. Do you call that a blowout? Or do you call that close? I think it'll be close enough. But I also think Lamar won't duplicate what he did in 2019 because they will have learned, Coach Harbaugh and company will have learned certain things that went on in 19 that they're not going to duplicate. I understand resting. You have to rest him. What are you going to do? You're not going to play him. Why would I play him in a game, a meaningless game at the end of the season? I have to rest my guy. Now it's up to Lamar not to turn the football over 3 times. 2 interceptions in 2019 plus a fumble.
Lost a fumble.
You can't do that.
No.
Those are the things that you can't do. You can't give other extra possessions to C.J. Stroud and company. Do I think this game for C.J. Stroud is going to be, a decent football game? Yeah. I think he'll have a good game. I think you'll look up and he'll be like, okay, he's arrived. This is the guy. This is they bought in all on him. He's going to be around for a long time in that division in the AFC. But I think Baltimore, like Michael was saying, Todd Monken at the beginning of the season, play calling is different now than it was then.
Yep.
The whole offense, the skill position players, they've learned earlier in the year, they were having drop issues and trying to understand route combinations and running in each other, doing things that they're not doing now. All of a sudden, Zay Flowers looked like, okay, and OBJ looks like, okay, and Nelson Aguilar, when he's involved, it's a different...
Mark Andrews is supposed to try to play. I don't know if he'll be Mark Andrews.
He potentially could come back
but
and help them out.
But it's going to bring excitement. And, man,
and the fact that he's putting on a jersey and potentially standing out there gives you pause on the defensive side of the ball because the big what-if factor, what if he all of a sudden turns into Mark Andrews prior to his injury? So I got the Ravens winning the game. I think it's going to be one of those situations where now that so-called monkey is lifted off of Lamar's back because he hasn't been in the AFC Championship game.
No.
Think about that, though, Skip. As I said, he's going to possibly go to AFC Championship game and the Dallas Cowboys. Never mind. We'll leave that alone.
So to your point, I'll take Lamar over Dak just because of what he's made of. I just like his sort of football character, his backbone.
The MVP.
Yep. He's running away with his second MVP. I'm emotional about it, but I'm not objective about it because I did pick Baltimore before the season started. You picked him to get there. I picked him to win the Super Bowl. Now I'm reading that Ray Lewis says Lamar has a different look in his eye. John Harbaugh is saying the same thing, different look in his eye. But I will admit to you, I'm a little queasy about this one because of the deja voodoo factor of what did happen in 2019 that you both referred to. Just remember, he had just won his first MVP. They were the 1 seed. They had the 2 weeks off. They said they didn't play it the right way. They rested their starters. They weren't ready because Tennessee had gone 9-7, but Tennessee had just gone up to New England and sent Tom Brady out the back door because it was 20-13 Tennessee, and they came in there and you look up and it's 14-0 Tennessee before you know what hit you, and it goes all the way to 28-6 Tennessee going to the fourth quarter because Derrick Henry is running wild on you. He's going for 195, and Lamar winds up throwing 59 passes in the game because he had to, right? And he threw, as you point out, 2 picks. He actually ran wild on them. He ran for 143 yards. So he put up sensational numbers, all like Dak did against Green Bay, where you're having to come back in the second half because you are hopelessly out of it. So it was shocking. I think there's still, it's almost like our Green Bay loss where they look back on it like, how the hell did that happen? What did we do wrong? So here comes this kid who he's got, just like Jordan Love, the underestimation factor operating, because we all looked at that game last week with Cleveland and Flacco and that Cleveland defense, and we said they'll go in there and just handle business against this kid. And guess what? He proved us all wrong because that game wasn't close. They took that game over right away and never looked back. Okay? So are they playing at a scary high level that makes me a little queasy about? Yes, they are. Could they go in there and jump on these guys because they're just not quite ready for what's about to hit them? Will there be underestimation?
I don't think there'll be underestimation factor.
Yes.
No, I don't think there'll be an underestimation at all.
No, they will not.
Baltimore's not going to duplicate what happened in 2019. They will have learned. Trust me, those coaches are pushing that narrative so strong inside that locker room. Don't let what happened in 2019.
Great motivators. Great motivators.
Absolutely.
Great motivators.
Yes, absolutely. You should try to get one.
Not in Dallas.
You should try to get one.
Thank you. You admit that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, thank you.
Well, he said it 5 times. Great motivator. Great.
Let me tell you defensively for the Ravens and offensively here for the Texans. And I remember watching this, and I talked to you guys about it a little bit. I'll never forget. I never had to go up against Reggie White. Never had to go up. But I was scared of Reggie White. We way out here. But I was scared of Reggie White. When we got
You mean you didn't have to individually go against him?
Individually go against him.
Right.
I wasn't going. I'm way out here. But Reggie White was such a force.
He was.
I was still afraid of him way out there. until we got Big E. We fixed it all. We were able to go.
Eric Williams.
Now, Eric Williams.
Yep.
When I watch Myles Garrett, Myles Garrett for Cleveland is the point of that defense.
I know where you're going with this.
And
you're
you go and get
Tunsil.
a Laramie Tunsil.
Yep.
He shut down the point of that defense. He took their strength. He won't be able to take Baltimore's strength. Baltimore don't have a Myles Garrett, but they got 4 guys
Spread
that
out.
come all the time. You know what I mean? All the time. And that right there is the only issue I will see for young Stroud. And why I say he has to rise above it all and find a way to win this game. Actually, in both of those number 1 seeds, that game's going to be played up front because both of those number 1 seeds are great defensively up front. You can't run on them, and they know how to get to the quarterback. The Texans got to be ready for that. They'll be better than Cleveland at getting to the quarterback. That's why we had Cleveland winning. They had the number 1 defense. We thought, they'll do something here. And they had 2 cornerbacks that haven't given up a touchdown all year.
Yep.
So you thought that was the right thought.
And
but
Jim
not
Schwartz as the DC.
Yep.
So certainly thought.
Certainly thought.
And
right.
they took him out.
Back to Lamar. I'm the biggest Lamar fan, supporter, defender. But I can't defend 1-3 in the postseason when your QBR in those 4 games is a 41. So you have played below average football for 4 playoff games. That's why the pressure to me of all the players playing this weekend, it's on Lamar. And I believe he will rise above the pressure. But to your point, you better.
But this is what he wanted.
You better. This is it.
This is what he wanted. He wanted to be known for the passer and not the runner.
Yeah.
Because remember, he came in the league talking about, I guess y'all think I'm a running back. And I think that projected into his money. That projected into his money became a problem. They agreed to go get him somebody now to throw the ball. This Lamar Jackson is a different Lamar Jackson. And that's why when I saw the records, like a Dak, you got a poor playoff record. I just talked about how it's important to win in the playoffs. But this gives him a new start. Because this Lamar we haven't seen, that's why I feel the pressure's on the 2 skip.
Yeah, he has a 1-3 playoff record. There's no question about it. But he's still young. He's still young. And when you are young like him.
And that's a great point too, Key, because he's young and he was running all the time. He was going to be out of the game young. But now he extends his career with this game.
When you're young like this and you're running the football and you're in a different offense come playoff time, yeah, you want to run the football because it's portable, but you also want to be able to throw the football when you can. And that wasn't the case in the past.
No.
Right.
When you look at playoff records, we can pull Tua's playoff record. We can pull Josh Allen's playoff record.
Yeah, but we're talking about a 2-time MVP.
I understand that. But there are MVPs in this league. We can pull a playoff record, Skip,
Right.
and look at them and go, the playoff record's not good.
Well,
Patrick Mahomes'
MVP.
playoff record is good. Because Patrick Mahomes has been at home. He's been to Super Bowls. He is headed in that direction. So I don't want to just say, well, he's 1-3 in the playoffs. He can't get over the hump. No, I think he'll be all right. I think that,
I hope you're right.
It's all about the seedings and the matchups and the teams that you get, who you draw and what rounds. That's important. That's so important because
he'll be all right now because he's added this to his game.
Absolutely.
Where he's sitting in the pocket like the Patrick Mahomes and looking to put the ball up the field. And even if he did it before, I'm not all on Lamar because he didn't have the talent to do it. He has the talent to do it now. He has a skill set. Mark Andrews was his favorite target. Mark Andrews, great tight end, great blocker, knows how to play leverage, knows to understand the angles and understand defense. He ain't running away from nobody. You see what I mean? And that was my primary. Now his primary is Zay Flowers. And he's still doing what he does. He always threw the ball more in the middle of the field, outside less. Now the inside guy is a Zay Flowers, somebody that can do some fizzle-dizzle when he gets that ball.
Yeah, but he got 2 veteran wide receivers that's played a lot
on the outside,
postseason and
outside that's playing well.
OBJ.
Right,
He's been in the playoffs before.
And that likely that tight end, he's never had this kind of talent. That's why I said I can move your 1-3 record. Let me see the new Lamar now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me see the new Lamar. Dak ain't got no new movement. I need wins on
Why
him.
do you keep going back to the Cowboys?
Because I'm still scarred, dog. I got a bad back, a bad heart, just scarred.
Scarred,
Hurt.
wounded, deeply.
So you're going to carry this We're going to be in April. You still going to be talking about what happened in January.
See, if I'd have let it go now. If we'd have had Bill Belichick, I'd have been talking about, boy, wait till next year. I can't do that now.
Thank you. So, Keyshawn, I'm with you. I'm in that same ballpark. I got Lamar 30-20, and I hope I'm right, because the beauty of the 1 seed is all you got to do is win one game, and you're in a home AFC Championship game. It's pretty sweet road to success, but you got to start now.
I'm just hurt, y'all. I'm sorry. I came in today to make sure I give my man Lil Wayne his due, right? My back broke, but I said, let me come in. Lil Wayne deserves this. I got to look him in the eyes and say, you won. I got to do that.
How is your back now?
It's good. It's good. I'm out here with my... No, don't be messing around. Don't be messing around. But I am better. I am much better.
All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Cowboys,
Nice.
We're going to have to hope this man can make it through the next topic. Why did Jerry even need to announce McCarthy will be the coach again next year? Why did McCarthy have to speak yesterday? I don't know. We'll debate next.
No mercy, no mercy.
An NFL executive made this point to Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk. The Browns didn't issue a statement saying they're keeping Kevin Stefanski, and if the Eagles do stick with Nick Sirianni, it's very possible they won't issue a statement and call a press conference. The executive said, and I quote, "Why make a statement that he's coming back? That just makes it look like you consider that he might not come back. That's what Jerry Jones does. I don't think the Eagles are that kind of organization." So, Michael, how much truth is there to this?
100. 100. To what he's saying. Jerry's going to make an announcement. Other organizations may not. 100% correct.
But Jerry,
why is it 100% correct? You know why? When I laid up with a broken back yesterday in that hotel room with my legs up, all I could do is watch TV. What did I see? I ain't see nobody talking about that horrible defeat Philadelphia Eagles just suffered. Everybody talked about the Dallas Cowboys. Let's stop playing around. Yes, he made an announcement. He has to make statements because everybody wants to know what's happening with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I am upset at them, but I will not sit here and take this kind of badgering. Let's stop playing. So, you want to get on Jerry, you can get on him. But the reality is, it's the Dallas Cowboys. With the Dallas Cowboys, it grabs more attention than anything. Jerry would have to make a statement. You know why? They won't stop talking about it until he does. They'll stop talking about it for the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll stop talking about it for any other team. But you won't stop talking about it with the Dallas Cowboys. It'll be the topic of every show unless he makes a statement. So be gone with all of that mess. I've already suffered enough on the loss. I don't need this lip game from some anonymous dude that just running his radio because wherever he was, it wasn't the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to put that down on that. Y'all want to get on Jerry? Get on Jerry. But back up with that mess, man. Yes, he has to make a statement. It's America's team, and America wants to know. That's why he has to make a statement. And Philly and the other people, they do not. Hallelujah. Now I will yield the floor. I will yield the floor.
Whenever you are thinking about making a change at something and you don't make that change, you're going to issue a statement. That's just what it is. It's not just Jerry. It's anybody that is going to. The New England Patriots had held on to Bill Belichick. They was going to say, Mr. Kraft was going to say, Bill Belichick is returning as our coach because there's so much speculation. I understand you want it to be. And
he's the greatest of all time. We're not going to stop until we get an answer.
Until you get an answer. The Philadelphia Eagles have met or are meeting with their head coach. The season's over. The week is done. And they're still meeting with him. So in the end, when they come out of the meeting, the Philadelphia Eagles fan base, they're going to want to know.
What is going on?
What the hell is going on?
Right.
So it ain't just Jerry Jones or Mr. Kraft. They're going to say, hey, He's coming back.
Well, and
what did the Pittsburgh Steelers do with Mike Tomlin?
Right.
Mike Tomlin is returning as our coach.
Right.
Because there was speculation that was put out there by people that are credible, and Adam Schefter, who knows now whether it was he's definitely going to do it or he's thinking about doing it, or maybe he. And then they come out and they say Mike's returning. That's part of the game. Okay, Nick Sirianni may or may not return. Okay, Howie Roseman, Jeff Lurie will say he's returning, or we decided to part ways and move in a different direction, mutually agreed to. Okay. That's what's going to happen.
Okay, but there's no.
They got to let the fan base know we're keeping him, but we're going to bring in some new coordinators.
They're going to do that.
You're going to tell people, because that's how the fans gather.
This individual, whoever the.
Yeah, he just want to spit on the grave.
You know I love the anonymous executives. They're unbelievable. Put your name to it. I can't do that. I got to keep my job. Jerry's not the only one, though, Skip. I understand everybody want to beat up the Cowboys and all, but Jerry's not the only one.
Okay, but there's an argument to be made.
Yes, go ahead.
If you decide you're going to stick with Nick Sirianni, you just go business as usual. You make no statements.
I disagree.
I mean, you can. There's no law. There's no rule.
No,
you don't have to do anything.
But you're not setting your team, though. What do we know? Are we running the same system next year? What is going on? So let me know what's happening here as I prepare in the off season, or they're free agents that Philly wants to sign, that maybe want to go. You got to let people know what's happening. You can't say, well, we're not going to say anything. We know people want them out of here, but nobody's going to say anything. That's going to affect everything.
Yeah, too much
so how you get it out, you're going to get it out.
The speculation is, you know, Skip, being a journalist and covering this stuff for a long time, you're sitting by the phone Sunday night after a game. You're sitting by your phone Monday. You're sitting by your phone Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You're waiting. Because you want to break the story.
And by a week from Monday, if nothing happens, you finally just fade out of it and you forget and go on to the next story. Like there's something. My wife is an expert in public relations, and she would say, just ignore it. It'll go away if you'll just ignore it.
Certain things will go away if you just ignore it. Not in Philadelphia, though.
Not in the NFL.
No.
Not in the NFL, because the NFL designed it this way. Let me tell you what I mean by that. So what, you're going to wait? And February is around the corner, so after we leave the Super Bowl, you still ain't going to say anything? And now you're going into the Combine a few weeks later? What staff you're taking? All of that's impossible. You got to show your hand in which direction we're, because the NFL has something every month, and they're not getting out.
Okay, but I do agree with the point that if you announce we are keeping, then you acknowledge publicly that you had doubt about whether he was going to come back or not.
And what's wrong with that?
Well, I don't know. Why should
Jerry had doubt? Jerry had doubt.
Well, did he?
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know.
Absolutely, he had doubt. They said
he made a 1,000-word statement that issued no doubt. Like he acknowledged no doubt.
Here's what I'm going to say. Mike, real quick. He said at the end of the season, toward the end of the season, when we had this conversation and Michael wanted to beat me up, because I said Jerry shouldn't have said game by game, he's going to evaluate him. There was doubt then.
That's true.
As he sat up there, in that box with his sons draped alongside him, you don't think they were sitting there saying, you know what? You don't think they was thinking that?
I hope
when they drove home, what should we do? When they sat in them big old conference rooms with them luxury chairs that sit high, that they said to themselves, what should we do?
Okay, but you came in here yesterday and said it was obvious they were going to keep him because they should have kept him, right?
Yes, but you still, Skip, you still have reservations and thoughts. Think about your own career and think about decisions that you got to make. Think about the decision to have me come on the show with you. You have to think about it. Oh, does it work?
I didn't actually.
No, but you know what I'm saying, though. No, you know what I'm saying,
I want you, and I want you, and I want Richard. We got them all.
But you got to think about it.
Okay.
You got to. That's just the way it goes.
Okay. But when you issue a statement and then you have your head coach trot out there in front of the media and answer these questions, I actually wanted Jerry to join him and have a co-press conference, and I wanted some explanation from both of them about why that happened on Sunday, because I still, to this moment, can't even believe it happened.
Me neither.
I've never in my career seen anything like it.
So did they not address that on
That's why I say
Monday?
both things can be true.
They
That's
didn't
why
address the
I haven't
blow-up
heard
on
a
Monday?
word
But
about
that's
what
why
happened.
I say both
why
can
it
be
happened.
true. When you say what Jerry says, I believe in Mike McCarthy. I do believe in him. But I want him to show me something in the playoffs, and he failed another chance at doing it. He failed at another chance at doing that. So I believe he believes in him? Yeah, in the regular season. But he has no reason to believe in him in the postseason. And making a statement says, okay, we're going to run this ship back. Yeah, but the Cowboys have to do it. The Cowboys have to do it, or the speculation will get crazy, and it will be a deterrent or a
It's the
distraction.
Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, Michael, unless Jerry was so supremely confident in Mike McCarthy that he's like, damn the torpedoes. I'm not making any statement because I'm going forward because that's my guy. You come hell or high water, that's my guy.
That's why I say, Skip,
right?
There was conversation.
There was doubt. There had to be doubt. There better have been doubt.
If there is doubt, there's conversation to get to the doubt.
Yeah.
Now, you kick the tires on other opportunities, I'm sure. In these circles, y'all both know. He knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who says, hey, what do you think? Well, he's not really that interested, or he's that interested. Here's what he wants. Jerry says, no. Steven, what you think? I don't want to go down that road. What do you think about Harbaugh? Well, I don't know. What about Mike? Mike's the same guy. Here's what we need to do. Those conversations happen. And then he says, well, we're going to keep him. Let's just keep him. It makes sense. He's got 1 year left. Let's extend him in April.
Okay. I'm just laughing at everything you're saying.
I'm just the truth, though, Skip.
Okay. So here's the difference in what happened Sunday. If that game had gone to the wire, if it had gone to the wire,
there's what I'm saying.
And Jordan Love had made some Aaron Rodgers throw that beat us at the buzzer.
It's still hard, but you swallow
you just
that.
say, okay, we competed.
You swallowed it.
We didn't compete. We were not competitive on the football field.
I understand that, but you can't fire a guy without a plan, man. Y'all just want to just...
No, Keith. We're not... No, nobody's just getting rid of Keith. There were prime property available for that position.
The most ever available on the market.
I would be with you if that prime property was not available on the market.
Property? What's the prime property?
The Belichick's out.
But you assume Belichick wants to work with this man.
But keep going, Harbaugh. Keep going, Vrabel. Right? Keep going.
All of those.
You'd rather have Vrabel than Mike McCarthy.
I would take Vrabel right now, just to switch it up, just to bring in somebody who is more of a disciplinarian and a tough guy.
Oh, okay.
I would.
Mike McCarthy.
Well, just 2 years ago, he was the coach of the year. Well, he was.
I like Vrabel, too.
Kellen Moore with the Dallas Cowboys because Mike McCarthy said, I know what needs to be done.
And what did he do?
I'm taking it, and when we get to the playoffs, we're going to play complimentary football. And when we get to the playoffs, that's where you're going to see how effective it is, what I'm doing. I looked again with all 5 eyes, all 3 in my name and the 2 in my head, and I saw nothing different. Nothing different. That's my disappointment. If I see, so I saw nothing different. So now, what are you telling me to buy into right now, moving forward, when you had this opportunity right here, and I already gave you the offense isn't putting up the points that they need, and they do it during the season. What is the issue? Why is that so? And why can't we fix that?
They're going to try to fix it, Michael. They're going to try to fix it. That's why.
Keyshawn, did you hear any answers from Mike McCarthy yesterday?
No. Why am I going to explain to you why we got just annihilated?
Because you're America's team and you owe us an
explanation. I don't need to explain that to you. You know, you watched it.
Well, why is he asking people to buy into it? Why you ask people to buy into it? So I think he is trying to explain to people, listen, stick with us. Stick with us. Buy into
it. Stick with it. I don't need to go detail by detail with you why it was 27-0 at halftime and why Michael Irvin changed clothes twice. I don't need to do that.
Buy into our fool's gold again. That's what they're asking you to do, and we probably will. All right, in a moment, we got to talk about one more big playoff game this weekend. Give me Baker and the Lions.
Things don't go well. I like to change clothes. Switch it up.
Baker and the Bucs. at the Lions. Sunday, 3 Eastern. Lions favored by 6.5. Keyshawn, you give the Bucs any shot here?
You know, I'm always going to give a team a shot, but it's something about the magic that's going on in Detroit right now, Skip. You look at Dan and you look at what they're doing offensively and running the football, and these receivers are in Jared Goff, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over. You know, I got the Lions winning the game 30-24. I like the way Baker played. Obviously, in the playoff game against the Philadelphia Eagles, he did some magical things that made you say, okay, he's the future right now in the short-term situation for the Bucs. They don't need to look for a quarterback at this present moment. But Baker needs to have, if they're going to have an opportunity, he needs to have that same type of game that he had against the Philadelphia Eagles. Because I know what they're going to do. I know that they're going to try and run the football offensively, play action pass game, get those linebackers sucked up, trying to throw behind them. You know, as they say, Michael, if one is in front, there's one behind. And that is true in the play action pass game. Defensively, their front seven in Detroit, they pin their ears back, they come and get you.
They do.
Their secondary has been wobbly, and you can make some hay in their secondary, but that front seven, you've got to be able to block those guys up, protect Baker Mayfield. If you're able to do that, you can keep this game as close and have a puncher's chance in the end. If you could just keep it close. But I got it 30-24, the Lions winning, and maybe, just maybe, if things go well, it'll be 3 straight games at home, and they get the NFC Championship game if San Francisco stubs their toe.
Yep.
And listen, they were talking about the other day, Baker was talking about how he reached out to people from the Rams that he played with. And they said to him, we've never seen anything like it. What was in Detroit last week? We've never.
How loud it was.
We couldn't hear anything. And we play in Seattle where they have the 12th man, and that's hard to play. Baker, to his credit, said we have to prepare for that. I don't know if you could prepare for that and what they're doing right now with Detroit. I got Detroit winning this game 28-17. It comes down to battle. Can Baker, the playmaker, and Mike Evans outplay Goff? Insane. I interviewed Saint just the day before yesterday. I interviewed him. And I'm telling you right now, what he told me in that stadium, he said, man, when we walked in that stadium, you heard those people, no way we were losing that game. I'm telling you, no way they're losing this game. Because, you know, in Detroit, walking around Detroit, how that's been and what it is now, he said, man, we love it, man. We just want to keep this here. They have the talent. They got the skill, and they have the will. And they will take the Buccaneers out. Now, Buccaneers, great game. Great job getting here. Baker, you deserve to keep another run with the Buccaneers. But the buck stops here. That's all I'm saying. The buck stops here.
I like that, but I don't agree with it. I'm going with Baker because he's always been a big game play maker back to his days at the University of Oklahoma in the college football tournament against Georgia out here. The Rose Bowl, it went double overtime. They lost, but Baker played great. He's 2-1 in the postseason. He got Cleveland back in the day to their first playoff game since 1994. It was at their arch rival at Pittsburgh, and Baker put up a QBR in that game of 92, scale 0 to 100, and they beat Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers at their place. And I think Baker will outplay Jared Goff. The X factor in this game is Jared Goff because he has that, what I call haywire gene in him that sometimes rears its ugly head when you least expect it.
And he did some crazy last week.
That's fair.
With that little pushback pass, that little lateral, I don't know what that was.
I don't know.
Like,
but remember, late
Panic.
late at Dallas, he started to unravel. He threw a couple of picks, and it looked like we were in position. Then they got back into position, and they should have won the game, and the referee took it away from him. But he has that capability, and it's going to require that because the Bucs defense is loaded with playoff experience.
Yep.
Super Bowl playoff experience. Todd Bowles has brought that defense to a boil right on schedule. And it made it hard on the Eagles, who did not have A.J. Brown, your guy, what do you call him? AB11? Right, AB11.
Right.
All right, they didn't have him, so maybe, and obviously Jalen was all beat to hell. But again, they looked like a playoff defense to me, and Todd Bowles can flat out coach defense to me. He's up there with the top minds in the game when it comes to game planning and motivation, pieces in the right place at the right time, knowing how to defend what you're up against. And I believe Baker won't shrink under the noise pressure or the Detroit pressure, because Tampa's done this before. All that roster is filled. Mike Evans has done this. Chris Godwin has done this. The offensive line, Tristan Wirfs has done this before, and then we start on the defense.
But you know who they done it with?
Interesting.
You know who
They did it with that guy. And he is the guy.
And that guy ain't there right now. Number 12 is not there right now.
Not there.
Keith, I thought this was interesting because Godwin was saying, man, we're loose and having fun. I'm like, what do you mean loose and having fun? I felt like he was talking about Tom Brady because
he was. Nobody was.
So my mind just went off on this because I'm saying, wait a minute. Tom became what he left. So Tom came over to Tampa and became the Bill Belichick. He was hard on them and making sure he's driving them and driving them. And they're saying, now we want to have fun. It was funny to me because the same thing Tom was saying when he was leaving Bill, but he came right over here and recreated it.
But I think what he was saying was they knew Tom was his last hurrah last year, and they were trying to rise up and take him home.
Right.
And Tom was on
pressure. There was a lot of pressure.
There was a lot of pressure.
Okay. But let me tell you when I see the defense, because you mentioned Super Bowl championship. You remember that Super Bowl they won against Kansas City? You know who I thought had a hell of a game was Levante David, taking out
Travis Kelce. He did.
Took him out.
Yeah.
That's not the case with Tampa right now. Tampa's giving up more yards. I think they're like top 3, giving up more yards to the tight end position.
He's up there in age.
He's getting up there, and that's the situation. And Laporta, right in this situation right here, can do some damage.
You love him all year.
That's what I was going to say, Skip, is they played against a Philadelphia offense that was stale.
Dead.
I got it.
They were dead.
Right. I give you.
So it's a different. They're getting ready to face something a little bit different offensively. Yes. Or are you correct? Jared Goff can say here. He can give it to you in a heartbeat. I don't think that Dan Campbell in this situation will allow him and Ben Johnson to give it away. They're going to try and run that football.
Sometimes you can't help it. You can't
but they're going to try to run that ball with Gibbs and company. They're going to try to run that ball with Gibbs and company. Their screen game with St. Brown. They're going to do those sort of things to slow down that blitzing Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense that likes to pin their ears back and go get the quarterback. All that negates that sort of stuff.
And
you'll slow it down
sometimes with that blitz.
Okay, I'm going with the upset here. I'm going 24-22 visiting team, and you guys got it fairly convincing for the home team.
Yeah. They're gonna. What Baker's gonna need. He had 3 touchdowns in that game last week. 2 of them were catching runs, and people was they didn't even want to tackle.
Nobody wanted to tackle.
And then the other one was a prayer that Maddox got turned around, and it was the bread basket to Godwin. On the blitz, smart by Baker to get rid of the football, put it in a location, but you're asking. Opportunity, but you're asking to duplicate that again in Detroit.
Secondary will give up big plays.
That's what I'm saying.
Big pass plays.
If he can get that.
Nobody is more capable of getting open deep than Mike Evans is. There's nobody, because he just does. I don't know how he does it exactly at 6 feet 5 inches, but every time I look, he dropped one the other night that hit him right there. He can get behind people.
And there's no doubt, man. This clearly says Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. I don't think because this dude has produced like this.
And he's won a Super Bowl.
Right, and he's produced like this, Keith,
every year
with all these different quarterbacks.
He has.
That's the kid with all these different quarterbacks, which is
and you know what? He's an all-time good guy.
He is a good dude. So I love him. He's a great dude.
I don't understand why they just won't pay him.
He's a great dude.
He's playing his way right out of town. Okay, up next, Nostradamus joins us to explain why he predicted the Packers would win easily over our Cowboys.
Because he's smart.
And he joins us to predict Green Bay at San Francisco. I can't wait for that.
I was dumb, and he was smart.
No mercy, no mercy. Won't back down.
you're 9.5 that your team is going to beat our team.
I'm 10.
I've never seen him like this.
All the pressure on the Cowboys. Here's Love. Caught for the touchdown. Oh, my goodness.
Well, you know, we turning Jerry's world to Wayne's world that night.
Oh,
It's going to be picked off, and no one in front of him. Touchdown.
Michael Parsons and company know.
Who that is?
Love. Back foot. Touchdown. Green Bay. Jordan Love. What a day. And they are cruising.
it is Wayne's world, and we're all just lucky to be living in it. 1 week ago, right now, Lil Wayne sat right here, and he delivered the prediction of the century.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was. Green Bay easily beating Dallas at Jerry World, where the Cowboys had won 16 straight and were favored by 7.5. Wayne said Dak Prescott would throw it to the Packers, which he did twice in the first half. He called it. Second, a pick six, made it 27-0 before halftime. Wayne, I sat right here last week and I told you on air that in all the years I've known you, I've never seen you so confident in your prediction because you just knew. And can you tell us how and why you just knew?
Skip, I'm not gonna go back to the cliche of this is what y'all always do or what y'all always done.
No.
I'm not gonna
This
go
is
to,
way beyond that.
I'm not gonna go to that. It was actually, it was simple. I knew the stage was too big. Plain and simple. Okay. And remember what I told you? I was like, we got guys, we got kids. They don't know what? They don't know the living room from the kids' room. You know, where the living room, you know, in the hood, the living room, we literally ain't going. Nobody don't even. I don't even know why we have it.
Plastic on all the couches.
We running in there. We running in that living room, and you be leaving out. Once we leave, there's gonna be cheese all over there. I knew that, and I knew they wouldn't rise to the occasion. But what I didn't know, I did not know, it would be 27-0 at halftime, and it would be what 48-16, something like that.
48-16, early in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I did not know that. I didn't know that.
I knew that because I was standing next to him. And when it was 21-0, he had to go change. Called 27-0, he had to go change clothes.
I heard you change clothes.
Yeah,
Put on
you changed. Yeah, change. I fell into
Since we didn't have the early game, remember they had to move that game. So we went right up to the Dallas game, and then I had to go meet kids.
Yeah,
Before I got there, it was already 10-0.
But I win either way.
Yeah, because you know.
I win either way. My football mind tells me that the Cowboys should have won the game based on experience and they got the better players and all of those sort of things. That's what my football mind tell me. But my heart was with you the whole way because I just knew what the Dallas Cowboys were capable of doing because that's all they seem to ever do. So I had my camera ready to go on my phone at all moments, lasered in on him at all times. I don't know. See, that's the 27. Look at that. Right. That's 27-0. That's 27-0 at halftime.
I just came
right
for
before.
work.
It doesn't matter. It's 27-0.
You was clean.
It was 27-0.
Come on,
Then in the second half, Wayne, then I hit him with the second. Game over now. He didn't change again. That's Mike. Game over.
I'm about to play a pool now. We done lost the game.
That's Mike.
I wouldn't have changed.
Mike right there. Okay, that's Mike. Okay. I see little Mike.
All right, so you were there. What was it like to be in Jerry World, and what did it feel like with Packer Nation starting to represent?
I was surprised twice. The first surprise was there was so many Packer fans there. I didn't think Jerry or the ticket holders or whatever would even allow it. I didn't think they would allow it. So what I mean, the example was when when you would hear the go, Pack, go, you know, the crowd try to, and it'll ramp up, go, Pack, go. At any place you go, you know, the home team start booing. Like, nah, we're gonna overpower that. They could never overpower it. Then when it was like 20, it was like, what? It was literally go, Pack, go. God. Then the other surprise was I saw people leaving in the third quarter. I didn't think that's what Dallas fans do. And, you know, I definitely was and the suites are so awesome. There's no glass that you got to. So I was right there like, y'all drive safe. Y'all drive safe out there. It's cold out there. Y'all drive safe. Yeah.
What did you think of your first trip? It wasn't your first trip to Jerry World. You've been there before. Well, how does it come across to you just being in it?
It was amazing. It was amazing. I didn't want to, be very aggravating, irritable to anyone. So I didn't take my mask off and run through there and how about them. But I did one good time. One good time. And I remember all I could think about was Unc when they beat whoever, like the Chargers or something. When they beat, that's all I could think about because it looked like the same type of setting. Right. So I stood up and, thank God for my blessings. People was already looking at me. Right. So I gave them something to look at.
Yeah.
I stood up and I asked them one great question.
And when you
one question.
How about them Packers?
How about them Cowboys?
How about the Cowboys you threw out?
Yeah, I want to know.
So right. And I heard a coach doing that when he was leaving the stadium.
I saw my homie do that.
How about them Cowboys, man? That was.
How did you think?
Wait. Did when the players took the field, did they look like they were not motivated? I'm talking about the Cowboys because I was like, man, wait a minute. We're the only home team that looks like we don't supposed to be here.
Agreed.
I would say.
But maybe they just thought that they was going to.
That's what it looked like. That's
take
what
advantage
it looked
of
like.
a young team.
That's what it looked like, Unc. It looked like they was, honestly.
They had already won.
Which was a great thing to me. It looked like business as usual to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, but as soon as we got in there, I was looking at it on my phone. And so I thought that we got in the elevator right when we got in the red zone. So I figured, man, we didn't score because when I got upstairs to the suite, I saw the kicker lining up. I was like, we settled for 3. I saw that 6, and he was going for that extra point. I was very interesting. Because I know that the Cowboys have a problem playing from behind. And so, the rest.
And by the way, you won the toss and said, give us the ball.
Yeah, give us the ball.
Yeah.
That first time, though.
Jordan Love played amazing.
Yeah.
He played amazing.
Take that 10 and put that 12 on him, he going to look like Rodgers.
Poise, and then I was...
So you went in the elevator when we had him going for 3 points. Then we jumped off sides when you got in the elevator. That's how they scored. Did you know that? That's how they went and scored the touchdown. You were probably in the elevator coming up.
I was in the elevator.
So they were going to kick out of Matt, and then they got the penalty, and that's how they got in touchdown.
Yeah, by the way, our most veteran defensive player, our defensive leader, jumps into the neutral zone on 3rd and 5 from the 6. DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
3rd and 5, and they stopped the play, but they had offsides.
But Jordan looked amazing. Jordan looked like he was ready for that situation, and also I was trying to see celebrations out of him and see if that's what. And I think I got a minuscule celebration, and that's what I love. And again, I told you, how they say we take on this team take on the whole attitude of the personality of the coach and all that. I know that we giving it to Jordan, his poise and all that, but that's Matt too.
No,
that's Coach Matt.
Yeah, Matt did a good job. Yeah. He unleashed on him with the play calling.
That's what I was just talking about in the break. What Matt did was what I'm saying we don't have.
Change up.
Like just add stuff. Yeah. You know my tendencies. Let me just add a little something to it. Yeah. So that Dobbs all the way across, when Gilmore looked back, they've been running that all year.
Yeah, deep cross.
But he added that on to it. He added that on late. Or that Musgrave coming on the block and then coming back out the back door. Those are added things.
Musgrave just jumped right back into because he just came off and he jumped right back in. And we still got Kraft.
Great coaching.
We still got Kraft.
Or feeding Aaron Jones is great coaching.
Oh my God, Aaron just love y'all.
Right, he's from there. That's home, and
All right. So in your Packer love and life, was that your greatest moment?
I obviously skipped the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was the greatest moment.
But this has got to be close.
It was up there. Oh man, it was up there.
And ironically, the Super Bowl happened in the same building.
You know what really made me mad?
What's that?
And this is the truth. The God honest truth. They played on it. The screen is bigger than this whole room.
Right.
They played on that screen like hype. A personal get hype from
I do everything.
Like get hype. Man, them folks ain't even. They act like they was going to the bathroom.
And see, you know what that is? And we talked about that earlier. That's loss of hope. That's loss of hope in what's going on. Even all those tickets, that's loss of hope. We're gonna come and see the same thing we've been seeing in the playoffs, and that's why I thought there should have been a change.
I heard more boos to the by the Packer fans to get hype thing.
Right.
Then cheers. I was like, what is? I was like,
you gotta change that, Michael. Man, you gotta change that.
No, Jerry. Yeah, it's a change. Yeah.
You know what it felt like? I said it's not a surprise. It's typical.
Yeah.
The fans are just like the team. They front run. Oh, we gonna beat this. We gonna beat this. But when it come down to it, I gotta work tomorrow. I ain't going to the game.
I got two right here in front of me. Two of them in front of us, front runners. I've been trying to tell them. They had me so convinced I was going to Vegas. They had me convinced I picked the Cowboys.
Not even that. Let me say, that's another thing. The Dallas Cowboys belong in Las Vegas. Next year,
I told you
a whole different thing.
I told you Jerry bought tickets for the whole team.
You got us on that.
My God.
My God.
I got a whole section.
All right, hold these thoughts because
Millions of dollars out of
made
made on
the prediction of the century last Friday. Will he top it this week by picking Green Bay over the 1 seed 49ers at San Francisco? Stay tuned.
This is cheese.
Cheese. Gold cheese.
You got a lot of cheese, though. I ain't
Stop that.
Won't back down, won't back down. Won't back down.
Once again, your turn. Hashtag Undisputed Live. Here we go. First tweet. Eric Jamel says, I just hope Aaron Rodgers didn't transfer custody of the Cowboys over to Jordan Love. And Rick Fox says, new daddy's home. You got us. What are we going to say? This is from William Woodson, who says, the look Michael is giving Key when a Cowboys topic is presented, Key is just giggling his heart away, just playing with your emotions. Stay strong, Skip and Michael.
They gonna have to stay strong. The coach staying strong. Y'all gotta ride with the coach, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac said stop playing, Key.
What?
R.I.P., bro.
Yeah.
Good man.
For real, legend.
Yeah, legend.
All right, Tyler Robinson has the last tweet. The Cowboys have traumatized Michael. Have traumatized him. That's from Schitt's Creek, and we are up Schitt's Creek, speaking of that show. Yeah.
You dead right.
Yeah.
That's my dude right there, man. I did something recently with him.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Now we got to fast forward. Now we put you on the hot seat again.
Yeah.
Because your team is at the team, as in the number 1 seed San Francisco 49ers. And this time, Lil Wayne is predicting what will happen.
Of course, I'm going to ride with my Packers, but I'll be the first, second, third, fourth, fifth to tell you that it will not be the same type of game that we had in Dallas. Those people will be ready on every side and at all ends, and much respect, and it ain't even about love. It's much respect first to Brock Purdy because he's not a system quarterback. And when he is a system quarterback, is one of the best, if not the best system in the league. So
you win a tight game?
A very tight one, and I got it like 28-24 or something.
Okay,
like
28-24. And are your emotions mixed because you do know Kyle as in Shanahan, and he did name his son after you because he is such a fan of yours. Carter is the name, obviously, of his son, of his 3 children.
Yeah.
Okay, does that sort of mix you up a little bit or blur your emotions at all?
That's why for this game, I'm kind of feeling like Key. It's a win-win situation.
Okay, you win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation because I also know that if the 49ers advance, because of the connection with Kyle, I'm still going to probably be at the next game and just rocking, hoping that he make it and get all the way through.
If on a scale of 1 to 10, your prediction a week ago was a 10 in your confidence level, this one predicting Green Bay over San Francisco at their place is at a what on a scale of 1 to 10 confidence?
10.
A 10?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Not, with y'all, it was a 10. But with them,
it's just like
10.
a 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more with us. I'm confident in my team, and I know what y'all got.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, I'm confident in my team. Boy, we got a battle.
We running in that living room. We gonna do what we do in that living room, but I'm not. We probably we gonna get a whipping. We gonna get a whipping for messing up that living room. Yes.
It's gonna be interesting because they both run similar systems.
Right.
And so that's going to be pressure on Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator, and Steve Wilkes, defensive coordinator.
But more on Joe Barry.
A little bit more on Joe Barry because they got a little more weapons, with McCaffrey and company moving things around, all this eye candy, all that sort of things. San Francisco should win the game. I'm picking San Francisco to win the game because they got the better players. in this situation that are a little older, been here, done that before, could very well have been in the Super Bowl last year if they had a quarterback or a backup quarterback that could stay healthy. When you look at it, though, you can't count out Jordan Love because we don't really know what he is. We saw against Dallas, but for all we know, he might be Joe Cool. It just keep on rolling through with no problem at all.
Right there.
We don't know.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs. He might be Joe Cool.
That dude was so cool last week, the way he played, the little things he did. One time somebody, he just stepped to the side and made a great throw. He was incredible. That guy right there will have a chance to win a football game, even at the 49ers. He will have a chance.
But you are still going?
I'm still going with the 49ers. Wayne, who do you think, when you look at what's the player that's going to stand out for Green Bay in this game? Outside of Jordan Love, who's going to have to step up?
Honestly, I think the whole defense is going to be, that's who's going to have to step up. And I think that's who we, if we shall win, I think that's who we should be talking about Monday or Sunday. I mean, that's who we'll be talking about Monday because of the show. I think that's who we'll be talking about, the defense, and that's we'll need them to step up.
All right, allow me to talk about.
They got a lot of weapons, right?
Your receiver core. I keep looking at these ages. So Jordan Love is 25 years of age, but I start looking down at Jaden Reed, and he's 23. And well, wait a second, Romeo Dobbs, we had him on the show the other day. He's 23, and Wicks is 22. And wait, Christian Watson's only 24, and then your two tight ends are 23. I've never heard of anything like this, and they're just flying all over everywhere like they've been doing this for years, right?
They have.
I mean, it looks legit to me, like his weaponry looks legit around him with the veteran Aaron Jones has gone for 132 a game for 4 straight games. I believe your weapons are at least equal to their weapons. I just do. I think Aaron Jones is a standoff with Christian McCaffrey the way he's playing right now. And I've seen him do it at this level for a long time in a lot of big games, right?
Yes.
It's a little bit of a wash there. Yeah. It's a little bit of a wash, but the problem is when you start talking about other positions.
Wash? With talent on talent?
No, talking about the running back position. Aaron Jones and Chris McCaffrey. That's a little bit of a wash.
Okay.
But when you start talking about Kittle versus the tight end, or you start talking about a young Romeo Dobbs versus a Debo in an Ayuk that's been doing it.
And I got answers. You said Kittles, well, we got Musgrave and Kraft.
You got them all.
Yeah, but
that was 2.
I know. Musgrave, nice little piece.
But some Fran guys are more proven, and they have played in more big games.
Yes.
And the San Fran side. We're projecting these young guys to be as great, but they have to show you. Now, that's the one thing I say about Jordan Love. So if he can have this thing, this special thing that we show up in the playoffs and play like this, that's the top thing I think that you want any quarterback to have. I play big. That's what made Tom Brady great. Yes, Tom Brady, you gonna get his best in the playoffs games, and that's what I started seeing with those young quarterbacks.
And all good young great quarterbacks eventually turn into good veteran quarterbacks. They start in the playoffs, and when you watch them from one game to the next, they just continue to keep going. There's no dip off. No. There's no dip off in Troy Aikman. There's no dip off in Tom Brady, Joe Montana. All that stuff it just does that, and they just keep going, and that's how you get to them championships.
All right, so I'm going to admit this publicly to you. I'm going to pick your team with my heart, not my head, because I need your team to go out there and drain some of the pain out of what happened, some of the shame out of what you did to us.
You need us to stomp them, too.
Yeah, but
they really look great for you.
Well, then, if you can go out there and stomp them, then we're coming in here Monday saying, hey,
that look great.
Hey.
That just means the Packers are better than both of y'all. Doesn't mean that the Niners ain't better than y'all. It just means the Packers are better than both of y'all. How does that help you?
Right. It also means that it's their time. You know, because if they beat the Niners, and man, get a chance to go and play in the NFC.
So if they beat the Niners, what does that say about
they gonna win a Super Bowl? Then we say, okay,
because it wasn't so bad. It wasn't all that bad.
Okay.
So now you hoping they win the Super Bowl, so now you can say, well, we lost to the Super Bowl champ.
I love it.
Man, you're so full of it. Oh, my God. We lost to the Super Bowl. We lost to the Super Bowl.
You lost to the champs. You lost to the champs. I can tell you.
Another thing, though, I see that we they haven't played yet. The 49ers haven't played, and we coming in off a real great win. You know what I mean? And we played a team that's nowhere near them, but the talks and the expectations of that team was right there with the 49ers and the Ravens.
You got in early. He made a point, which was a good point. You know, it was less physical because that was just throwing the ball in the air.
Oh, they rested.
Right.
Yeah.
They ain't have to do nothing. It was over with the third quarter.
It's just that Matt and Kyle know each other so great. They know each other.
What it is.
You don't want them to be rested.
So
Go, Pack, go.
Years old. They don't
Beat those Niners. Up next, we got to talk about another game that is the game. Mahomes at Josh Allen. Who wins it this time?
No mercy, no mercy. Fall back down.
Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs are finally about to play a road playoff game at Buffalo Sunday night, 6:30 Eastern. Bills favored by 2.5. Gabe Davis, though, just ruled completely out of this one. So, Wayne, who wins and what is the score?
Man, I got the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs, and I got it actually being a low-scoring game, a scrappy game, too. Okay. Yeah, and I got it 17-13.
17-13, Mahomes over Josh Allen.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs 27-24. He'll be in the AFC Champ. Patrick Mahomes will be in the AFC Championship game along with Kelsey, Taylor Swift, and everybody else.
Okay.
You know, I got the Chiefs. I got the Bills. But I believe I got the Bills. When you just said Davis is out, I thought, oh, my God. Nice. But that's going to make them turn more to Stephon Diggs, which they need to do anyway. So I'm still sticking with them, 31-28.
And turn to Dalton Kincaid, who I wanted Dallas to draft, but it didn't happen. And Mozzie Smith, I don't know whatever happened.
Good for him. I'm glad he in Buffalo because otherwise he'd be at home with the rest of the Cowboys.
I disagree with both of you because I think Patrick Mahomes has struggled and teetered all year. I think Travis Kelce is starting to hit the late career wall. They haven't looked right to me except for Rashee Rice, who has emerged over the last couple of games. I will give you that much. I just think it's Josh Allen's turn this time, and I do love the way they have played at home and of late. And I think he will rise above Patrick Mahomes this time. Yeah.
Well, I don't think so. Yeah. We'll be talking about that on Monday.
A couple interceptions.
This was staying. On.
You think Josh Allen throws 2 interceptions?
A couple,
Is that a Nostradamus prediction?
Everybody know you're going to throw 2 interceptions.
That's it for us. We're back Monday at 9:30 Eastern, and I can't wait.
Go Pack, go.